Hey, can I have a hello for whoever is here? Hi, Jennifer. Nice to see you. Wonderful. I'm trying different angles, but I think here. Okay, for those, again, who are not familiar with what I'm doing right now, this is my group, Wash Your Hands and Meditate English. And you see me here on Facebook and Instagram stories live. And if you want to hang around for a moment with me, just to calm yourself and arrive in a hectic day, or maybe a day that wasn't so pleasant. You know, we all have our ups and downs. This might be the moment to stop and just tune in, be here. And do so by, again, leaning back into your chair, into where you're seated. Allowing the thoughts to drop into your heart. As if your brain is melting. Allowing that obsessive activity in the frontal lobe to melt down through the palates, through the throat, into your heart. And drop by drop, the thoughts find a place where they can rest and be seen. Do you know how powerful it is if you have 20, 40 people in front of you and you take time to acknowledge each and everybody in the room as good as you can? It establishes connection, and it's the same with thinking. We cannot stop thinking as long as we live, but we can pay attention to our thoughts. And just to pay attention to them, not for them to rattle on, but for them to be here and to drop into receiving them. Don't follow up with the thoughts, just whatever is coming. Oh, I'm busy. Let that busyness drop into your heart space. I can't slow down. Even all these things, all these judgments, they have a right to be here and be received by you. When we start rejecting these thoughts, it's part of self-rejection. And how would you feel if a child came to you and it would complain like, this person was evil to me because I said this and that? If you were the mother or the father, You would certainly acknowledge that. You would take that kid into your arm. Some of us would tend to argue, but maybe as you can't do anything because the situation has passed, maybe the easiest thing to comfort a child is to simply take it into your arms. And in the same manner, all the thoughts that you're rejecting, the thoughts that are not allowed to be in you, in your mind, in your body, allow them in like you would allow a child into your heart. And like you, there's been people before you, we call them ancestors. And these ancestors, they have gone through their fair share. They have experienced things before you that you haven't experienced, and they had to struggle and fight, love and live, be joyful. So maybe for a moment, take a note, just becoming more upright, because it helps to acknowledge the uprightness of the corners of the room you're in. And then when you're upright, either if you have the time, you can turn to what is east in your apartment, or you can just visualize facing east energetically. And we know the east to be the corner or the direction of where the sun rises. And the sunrise gives birth to new things. And it's the symbol of spring and the fire of life. So we acknowledge that. We're acknowledging the East for its birthing qualities. And then let's acknowledge the South, where the South is known for its sweetness, youth, and the season of summer and emotions. Allow the South to open up in you. And we move on to the West. And the West is the direction of sunset, adulthood. And we are reaping in the West, the reaping harvest, the earth. It's our dark cave where we hibernate and where we find creativity. And then finally we turn to the north. And the north is the direction of the ancestors. And the ancestors stand simply for the intergenerational wisdom that's been passed on to us. They are our elders. And For a moment, we want to give thanks to our elders for their kindness, their braveness, and for their support and wisdom they passed on through the generations. May we stand on their shoulders, noticing what we need to take forward with us in these turbulent times, and what we need to leave behind in this wisdom to create new wisdom or to recreate their wisdom. Whoever is calling through for you right now, allow them to speak to you for a moment. So you can close your eyes. If you lost a little track of what's going on, just use your own east, south, west, and north, which in yogic terms is the east is the back of the body. South are your feet. The west is the front. And the north is the crown and upwards. When we acknowledge all this, it means all the directions, they can integrate the cycles of birth and death, of youth and adulthood, and of wisdom. In that way, you're becoming whole again. And in this wholeness, we can shine our light. We can be the beacon of light to move forward, to bring more wisdom forward. Maybe in just one area of this world, maybe just for a few people around you. But if many, many people do that, we have a lot more light in the world. And if we're scattered and disconnected from all these directions and experiences, the darkness can creep in. And then darkness, as Martin Luther King said, darkness doesn't drive out darkness, but only light can do that. So be the light. Embrace yourself, your thoughts. Allow your heart to speak. Allow your own inner wisdom to come forward. And before we release ourselves back into this group, can you think of one word that's coming up for you right now? What is the one word that's showing up for you right now? Keep it in your mind, in your heart, and maybe also in your journal tonight. That one word that came forth. You can return now. It's always nice to do something with the hands to feel the divineness being together in your hands, like the male, the masculine, and the feminine, and the earthiness, the structure of that makes us. So I often like to rub my hands to return, or to touch a part of my body like my heart, rub my face. So if you feel inclined to do that, use it to know this has been an embodied higher state. And I thank you so much again for showing up today, showing up in our group, in the meditation group. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, Instagram and Facebook. Have a lovely, lovely afternoon.